Take a look at this gymnasium. For decades, synchronized sit-ups like these have been ingrained in us as the absolute gold standard for building a strong core and proving physical readiness. But the biological reality is that repeatedly folding your torso in half isolates the hip flexors while actively crushing your lumbar discs. The abdominal muscles are barely driving the movement. These Marines are performing crunches in the sand to meet a fitness standard that is currently under review. The rate of disc herniations and lower back strain linked directly to repeated spinal flexion is so high that the U.S. military is actively phasing the sit-ups out of its readiness tests. We have spent years confusing localized muscle fatigue with actual structural strength. This has led to a widespread epidemic of lower back injuries without delivering functional core power. To protect the spine, the fitness industry pivoted to the plank.
It holds the spine neutral and feels safer, but it quickly hits a biological dead end for muscle growth. This animation compares dynamic movement with a static hold. Muscle mass grows through mechanical tension, stretching and contracting under a heavy load. A rigid isometric hold does not provide that stimulus. When you extend a plank past 60 seconds, your core muscles stop adapting. Your body simply learns how to rest its weight on your skeletal structure while you endure the boredom of staring at the floor. Neither breaking the spine in half nor holding it perfectly still forces the abdominal blocks to build dense, visible muscle. Dr. Stuart McGill, a leading researcher in spinal biomechanics, identified that the human core was actually engineered to be a stabilizer. It is designed to prevent motion rather than act as a hinge. This diagram illustrates the spine acting as a solid suspension bridge, transmitting kinetic power from your legs to your shoulders. When forced into flexion, like in a sit-up, the structure buckles, creating a massive energy leak that places severe shear force on your lower back. A truly strong core functions as an unshakable brace. Its primary purpose is to fight against being bent, twisted, or crushed by outside forces. Training the core to handle heavy loads requires 3 specific movement patterns. The first pillar is anti-extension, which is your ability to fight gravity as it tries to pull your spine backward. Look at the man on the right performing an ab wheel rollout. Unlike the static push-up, rolling the wheel outward creates a massive dynamic load. Gravity wants to sag his hips to the floor, and his abdominals must fire intensely to prevent his spine from extending. The second pillar is anti-rotation. This is the ability to resist lateral twisting forces that threaten to move the spine out of alignment. In exercises like the Pallof press, you push a resistance band or cable straight out in front of your chest. The cable constantly attempts to spin you sideways. Keeping your torso straight requires deep stabilizers, like the transverse abdominis, to work at max capacity. The third pillar is anti-lateral flexion. This means preventing your body from collapsing sideways when carrying an uneven unilateral weight. Notice the posture of these men performing loaded carries. The heavy weight on one side of their body wants to pull them down, but their obliques contract to brace the spine and keep it perfectly vertical while they walk. Training for these 3 anti-movement patterns builds a functional steel belt of muscle around your waist, protecting the spine from every geometric angle. Most people hit the gym, lift heavy weights for their chest and back, and then drop to the floor for a 10-minute circuit of bodyweight crunches. To grow, the core needs progressive overload. You have to challenge the tissue by adding heavy, aggressive resistance, instead of simply adding more repetitions. Your abdominal muscles are subject to the same biological rules as your biceps. They require intense stimulus to grow, and they require dedicated recovery days to repair and actually push through the skin. Treating the core as an endurance novelty, doing 100 reps with 0 weight, is the reason most lean people still have completely flat midsections. Once the core is trained to resist movement, heavy compound lifts like squats and deadlifts effectively become massive integrated core exercises. The torso stays stiff, and the spine stays locked. An anti-movement core maximizes your total athletic output. When your midsection doesn't buckle, 0 energy is lost between your feet pushing against the floor and the weight you are trying to move. Training the core to resist motion builds the unshakable foundation required for every functional human movement.